What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different to what I normally do. I'm actually going to be travelling back in time to 2009 Thorpe Park using Google Maps to kind of indulge in a little bit of a history lesson. Obviously with Hyperion opening next Friday, I thought it'd be nice to kind of look back at the last 12-13 years at Thorpe Park to see how much the park has grown in that time, as well as kind of reminiscing on some old nostalgic things. So hopefully we see some really cool stuff. We've got a lot to cover in today's video, so without further ado, I think it's time to time travel. Okay, so travel back in time to 2009. There is no better place to start this video than, of course, the brand new edition for the year of 2009, Saw the Ride. One of the more noticeable details, kind of from where I'm standing at this point here at the moment, is the fact that this entire section isn't even built yet. Now, obviously, at this point in time, Saw the Ride had just opened. Saw Alive wasn't constructed yet, like at all. But the interesting thing is you can actually see the Saw Alive boat if you just peek yourself through the trees here. Look at that. So originally, I believe the Saw Alive boat was a restaurant. It was like a restaurant that was on the lake, which is a really cool idea. I'd love them to do something like this, like present day at Thorpe Park, especially now that Saw Alive's kind of been cut loose, literally and figuratively. Now this doesn't really look too different, I would say, to modern day, like I said, other than the colours. Obviously it looks a bit more clean shaven, if you will. Obviously Hyperion is probably also going to look like that when it opens next Friday, obviously because the plants haven't really had time to grow yet. But yeah, Saw the Ride looking lovely as ever. So let's carry on now. Let's start the journey a little bit. Where should we go? I would say Colossus. Let's head down through Colossus. I don't think Colossus has changed that much. Okay, so I've moved past Colossus a little bit now and kind of moved more centralised into the middle of the park. And as you can see, we've got the old Thorpe Park map here, which is really cool to see. Yeah, so that's a nice little touch there. I do quite like the fact that you can see the map. But more noticeably, we have the Octopus Gardens. Now this, again, is a little bit before my time as an enthusiast, so I don't really have that much experience with it. Obviously, the kind of main thing to note, and I will preface this by saying I absolutely adore Storm Surge, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But, however, having said that, I will say this area feels so much more open, and I do kind of think Storm Surge is a little bit of an eyesore. I'd still love it to bits though. Okay, there she is, there's X. So this is actually the 1996 version of X No Way Out. In kind of modern day perspective, this looks very different. Now I do remember it looking like this. I remember I wasn't really around for X No Way Out, but X from 2013 I very much was. That is kind of my version of X that I remember. So I do remember it looking like this. Obviously it's really weird nowadays not seeing this massive kind of Walking Dead queue line there. But yeah, that's really nice to see it kind of like that. Again, if you guys want to do this, this is completely open for anyone to do. It's really fun kind of having a wander around an old Thorpe Park. So yeah, definitely check it out if you guys want to, because it's really fun. Okay, so let's have a little wander around the Swarm, I think, because obviously that is something that's going to look very different. And oh, I've just seen something. Oh, look at that. There we go. The old Fright Nights logo. Oh, how incredible is that? So as I was mentioning earlier, this is the year that Saw opened. So you can actually see, we get a really good look at this kind of graphic poster here. Where they've kind of got Saw at the forefront. Obviously this is before Saw Alive, but obviously with Saw opening this year, they really wanted to incorporate it in with Fright Nights. But that's awesome. Now this kind of Google Maps capture is from September 2009. So fingers crossed, if we kind of move a little bit over to where Inferno is and that, we might be able to see some Fright Nights construction, maybe, from this year. Obviously nowadays, the Fright Nights construction kind of starts quite early. Obviously because of the scare zones and stuff now. I'm pretty sure Death's Doors went up late August, early September last year. But we might be able to catch some glimpses, which I really hope we can, because I'm a sucker for a bit of Fright Nights, aren't we all? But yeah, moving on, let's go and take a look at the Swarm, or well, the lack thereof. I can already see how different it looks just from walking down this bit of the pathway. Let's have a, oh my god, yeah, let's get the tree out of the way, that's a bit annoying. Right, okay, so this has changed so much. It kind of really shows how much Thorpe Park was evolving across this decade, from 2000 to 2009. Between that time frame, we had Stealth open, we had Colossus open, we had Nemesis open, and obviously saw the ride. Not in that order, obviously, that was a bit jumbled up, but they kind of absolutely rattled through roller coasters within that decade, and it's kind of crazy to think about nowadays, obviously, because it's been over a decade since the Swarm now, which was obviously in 2012, and in that time frame, a decade before that, they'd had like 4 roller coasters built. 4 or 5 roller coasters built, which is absolutely insane to think about. But yeah, look at that. You can even kind of peek through and see a bit of where the Swarm was being built. The marquee's still there. The marquee is still there and standing where they were holding events, and are still holding events to this day. But yeah, that's really interesting to see. What a weird sight. Okay then, so let's loop back round here. Let's go up towards past Sunken Gardens and into where Amity is. Okay, so let's have a look around here then. We've got what was the original Amity, and I say original, it may look very similar here, but as we go around the corner you'll see what I mean. But the colours are absolutely gorgeous on this Megastore. Don't get me wrong, I really do like the Megastore as it is at the moment, but it's just something, there's just something late 2000s about this whole aesthetic. I absolutely love it, with the kind of big Megastore letters and the orange, not orange, that's definitely not orange, I don't know what I'm thinking there, yellow and red kind of designs, and the blue accents on there. Wow, that's gorgeous. However, one thing to note, where's the shark gone? The shark isn't here. I thought the shark was kind of in here early doors. But no, it is still a KFC though, which is really interesting. However, one thing to note, Pizza Hut. I absolutely love Pizza Hut. Gutted it's not there now, but obviously I believe this is the Pizza Hut buffet. So obviously that kind of, I would imagine, is what was, or what is now, the pizza pasta buffet. But obviously that used to be a Pizza Hut. Okay, so now we kind of move in to what is the original Amity, or you know, what was kind of it in 2009. Obviously it changed quite drastically after this point with Angry Birds Land, and obviously nowadays this past close season it's been turned into Big Easy Boulevard, so that's really interesting. Got Time Voyages over here, which was in the 4D cinema before it was turned into Angry Birds Land. That's really cool. And oh, the Dodgems aren't there. I completely forgot about that. Obviously the Dodgems were an addition with Angry Birds Land, so yeah, this is quite an interesting little space here. Let's kind of go up to stealth. I don't think a lot is going to have changed with stealth. I think a lot of that has kind of been, obviously it's had a bit of a spruce up this season, but I think geographic. Oh no, yeah, I completely forgot about Ben & Jerry's. Obviously Ben & Jerry's went here. I still do remember this though. I do believe before Ben & Jerry was here, that made him sound like he's an actual person, Ben & Jerry. Before Ben & Jerry had graced his presence with Thorpe Park, I do believe this was a fish and chip stand, and they do actually have a fish and chip stand this season, but I do miss having the little Stealth fish and chip shop. But yeah, Stealth kind of looks as glorious as ever. Obviously at this point Stealth was only a few years old. Obviously 2006 Stealth opened, but yeah, it's looking lovely as ever. You got the WWTP little car there, that's really cool. And look at that view. One of the best views in any theme park in the UK. Absolutely love it. Okay, so as we kind of move past the teacups now, let's take a little shortcut through Angry Birds Land. So Nemesis hadn't really changed really. Nemesis is still kind of Nemesis. They've always kind of kept the jungle area fairly similar. But one thing to note here that actually did flood me with quite a bit of nostalgia is the little information boards. Obviously nowadays we're kind of blessed and spoilt with like the big screens we got that kind of have these really cool graphics and stuff, but I do remember when they used to have this kind of like red writing. It's really interesting to see that again, and obviously they were also under all of the queue lines. You can't really see it, you can see it a little bit. You can see it kind of under the Nemesis Inferno sign there, with all the red writing. So that was obviously the old queue time boards and stuff. That's really cool to see. So let's keep moving through here, and I'm hoping that there will be something to do with Fright Nights coming up here, because if I remember rightly, this was the year that Asylum was still at the park. So if we go through these bushes, fingers crossed the Asylum is still here. Let's have a look. That's the fast track bit and the shop. Let's have a look. There it is. Oh, that's so cool. Right, so the Asylum obviously is probably, I would say, arguably one of the most iconic Fright Nights mazes to ever grace the park. Of course, it had quite a long lifespan at Thorpe Park, and it was kind of cut short in a bit of a bittersweet way, because there were I believe a lot of protests against the asylum as a scare maze, because obviously it was very much kind of tainting the view of an asylum or a mental institution as being a scary kind of dark thing, which realistically I can see why. Obviously it was an absolutely iconic maze at Thorpe Park, but you know, it is what it is, you can't really argue against it. But another big thing to notice here is the carousels there. No Darren Brown's Ghost Train, or no Ghost Train as it's called now. This was obviously originally the arena, I believe. You can't really see it through here. But yeah, this area has changed quite substantially. Obviously, oh look at that, you got the Thorpe Park Rangers on there as well. Oh, that's awesome, that's pretty cool. I completely forgot that this was even at the park. But yeah, I do want to get a closer look at the asylum though. Hang on, what's this over here? Is that an information board? No, the showcase. I don't know what that's meant to be. That is really, really cool. That just made this whole video worthwhile, I can't lie. Absolutely amazing to see that in its prime. Right, now I did save the best till last, at least in my opinion. We're going to kind of head through here, past Burger King, to where obviously Hyperia stands at the moment. But look at this. This is Old Town in its prime. We'll kind of start going through on the left here. Let's have a look. Here we go. There we are. So this is obviously when Loggers Leap was still open, which is obviously the old log flume that was at Thorpe Park. Now I do have a lot of fond memories with Loggers Leap. I absolutely loved this ride when I was young. But yeah, this is an area I think that also has gone under like drastic changes. Obviously over the last 2 years, because pretty much where I'm standing is where Hyperia is. Let's see if we can kind of position ourselves to where I believe the entrance to Hyperia will be around about where I'm standing here, I believe, and it kind of wraps around when it starts there, I think. But yeah, this is kind of when everything in Old Town was kind of operational. Obviously not long after this, I think it was about 2015, 2016, Loggers Leap would close and never reopen. It would just kind of stand there. But yeah, look at this. This is really nice to see again, actually. Obviously you had this nice little view over to kind of the last bend after the drop on Loggers Leap. That kind of wrap around. I always found Loggers Leap really charming. It was one of those things where, because you were going through like the woods and stuff, it was a really cool ride, and I was absolutely gutted to see it close, obviously back a good few years ago now. But obviously what has kind of succeeded it in Hyperia, I'm more than happy with. I think if you ask anyone really whether they'd prefer Old Town to still be here or not, I think everyone would kind of agree that Hyperia is the better option of the two. But again, this has a lot of fond memories for me. Obviously after Loggers Leap closed, this became Creek Freak, and that was just as iconic and really cool. You've also got the Rocky Express here, and oh my, is that what I think it is? It is. So this is actually the original Canada Creek Railway. Obviously this was, I believe, the railway system that kind of ran across next to where Monk's Walk was, that took you to Thorpe Farm. Whether or not it still did that at this point, I'm not actually entirely sure. But obviously this would go on to close in 2011. So this was kind of the last few years of this operating. Oh look, you can even see the trees, not the trees, the train just there through the trees. But that obviously has still been used in recent years. That was used pretty heavily obviously in Platform 15. That was kind of the Creek Tours thing, so they obviously still kept the legacy of the kind of the Creek Railway going for a good few years. But it's absolutely lovely seeing Old Town again, and I think this is very prominent now, because obviously we still had this area like 2 years ago, and I kind of forgot how much it had changed. I'm kind of used to seeing the construction site of Hyperia now, so we kind of got to count ourselves grateful that technology like this exists, because without like Google Maps we wouldn't be able to just walk around this again. Obviously there's pictures and stuff that are kind of obviously floating around from back in the day, but this is truly special, being able to walk around here like we were actually there. Obviously it's not a live image, but it's the closest we're going to get to be able to kind of walk around an old version of Thorpe Park, and that is really cool. But I do believe we have now reached kind of an impasse and we're back to where we started. Obviously, there we go, we got a samurai there. But yeah, I think that's kind of where our little adventure has come to a close. I've absolutely loved filming this video. This has been absolutely great, not only to see a Thorpe Park from before I was an enthusiast, but also kind of still see aspects of the park that I remember from a good few years ago kind of being operational. So this has been a really truly special experience. If you guys want me to do this with other theme parks, I know I was considering doing it with Alton Towers. I think that would be really interesting to look at. And if you guys have enjoyed watching it, make sure to like and subscribe. It does really help out, and I do absolutely appreciate it. I've got some really cool videos lined up. I'm filming one Monday, which is going to be really cool, which I hopefully will have out by the end of next week. But yeah, without further ado, thank you so much to you guys for watching the video and continuing to support me. I absolutely appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. See you later.